Hello everyone, my name is Chris Reinhardt. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Ormond Beach, Florida. Welcome to my craft table. I'm doing an extra video this week because I just received my pre-order from the March online exclusives, and the set that caught my eye was the Rolling Waves. And we're going to be using that today. I live near the beach, so anything beach related I'm usually a sucker for. The card we're doing, I'm pretty much casing the card that was in the online showing what they used for the stamp set. So I'm pretty much going to case this card. And here's what I came up with. I changed the DSP a little bit, but it's pretty much the same card. I changed the sentiments also. So let's get started. We're going to start out with a card base. It's a crumb cake 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And the inside will be a white 5 1/4 by 4, and we'll get to that later. I'm doing this video without any notes, really. I just finished the card a few minutes ago, and I wanted to get this up, so bear with me if I hesitate and I can't remember what I'm doing, because I probably don't know what I'm doing. All right, so we've got our card base. We're going to set that aside. On top of that card base, we're going to have another crumb cake that's 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. So that's going to cover the whole front of our card. And set that aside. First thing we need is the water. I'll keep this here so you can see what we're doing. We're going to do the water here. And on the sample, they had a border of the crumb cake. I didn't like that, so I'm going to make this even with our card margins. So I started out with a piece of Balmy blue that was 3 by 4 1/8, but we're probably going to cut it a little bit shorter after we've put all the water pieces on. Okay, what we're going to do with the Balmy blue is we're going to stamp the water in Balmy blue, but we're going to stamp it off, and that'll give it a little bit of texture and interest rather than just a plain piece of cardstock. So I'm inking up the Balmy blue, and I'm going to stamp it off. I'm going to try stamping it off twice first and see how that goes. Start at the bottom. I think I'll just stamp it off once. And I usually turn the stamp. That's better. And one more, and I think I'll do that bottom one again too. You can see I've been stamping off quite a bit. Okay, let's turn that around and do that one again. It's pretty darn cold here in Ormond Beach. I think it's going down to 32 again tonight. So we're not really thinking beach. Wishing we were at the beach in a warmer place. Okay, we're finished with that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the blue part of the foam before we get to the white. So what I did was I took a piece of white that's 2 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm going to ink it with Balmy blue with my brush. Stamp off a little bit so you don't get blobs, and you just want it light. Again, my sample, I made it a little bit too dark, so I'm gonna go lighter on this card. So just keep going around in circles. It doesn't matter if you leave a little white spaces here or there, or even if you have a little blotch, because it's going to be die cut. And after you get enough Balmy blue on there to see that it's not white, I think that's probably plenty. I also added some Pool Party because I thought water isn't just blue, it's kind of greenish blue, especially here in I live near Daytona Beach, so it's central east coast of Florida, and our water's more green than blue. So I'm just going to add a little pool party to this. You may not be able to tell the difference, but it's there. There. Now you can see how that's going to contrast with our water nicely. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to die cut it with the larger of the foamy, for lack of a better word, dies. And I've done that already. So I've got that here. And that's going to be going at the top of our water. But we need some white foam because we always have white foam at the beach. And that's 1.5 by 5.5 piece of white. And then you die cut this die with it, which I've already done. And you're going to glue, you'll see that it matches up perfectly with the one below it. So we're going to glue that together. And you'll notice I'm using a different glue gun. I just don't know about glue guns. I don't think there's a perfect one out there. This one's coming out pretty fast too. I think I have too much glue in it, but the other one just kept dripping, so I think I'm going to not be using it anymore. So I hope that my recommendations, you didn't go out and buy one on my recommendation. And it may work for you, I don't know. Maybe it's the glue that I'm using. I'm using, what is it? Nuvo glue. That's what I use. And again, you just need to get some of the little pieces glued down. Not everything needs to be glued. Okay, we're gonna put that on here and line it up. I really couldn't tell exactly how they put that card together, so this is just my interpretation of it. Okay, now we're going to put this onto our water, and you want to make sure that you cover the edge at the top here. So when you glue it down, make sure you've got, there we go, like that. That would be perfect. And then we'll cut the edges off. So let's get this glued. And you can see I used a piece of scrap paper when I cut this out. Be nice if I could hold still too. I sometimes shake a little. Again, this would probably be a good candidate for the adhesive sheets. Haha, I remembered the name of them. Somebody was kind enough to tell me, so I memorized it. Adhesive sheets would work well here, but I don't have them, so. Okay. I should be on my silicone mat. Let me get that. There we go. Just make sure you cover the water at the top like that. Okay. Now we can cut the excess on the sides. I hope everybody is staying warm. I've got 2 layers on right now. I'm in the house. I'm still cold. Oh, that's looking good. All right, so let me see. What did I do with the crumb cake? Oh, here it is. So what you're going to do is you're going to see where you want to place this so you know how much to cut off, because we still have to put our umbrellas and beach blankets on here. So I think about there looks good. So I'm going to cut off about 1/2 inch off the bottom here. I will be back. I don't think I'm in the camera. Oh, I think it was 1/4 inch, wasn't it? Now I gotta look again. I don't want to cut off too much. Quarter of an inch. Woohoo! Measure twice, cut once. That would be a disaster. Oh yeah, that looks good. Okay, so it's before we glue it, we're going to stamp our sand in crumb cake. I'm not doing too bad not having anything really written out. I whipped this thing up so fast this morning because I was so anxious to get a card made with it. I like to turn the sand around a little bit so it's not all going the same way. Let's see how that looks. Oh, we need to go up higher. Okay, well, I can leave this here now. Okay, that'll do it. Now we can glue our water down. I think Saturday is supposed to be our coldest day, where it's even below freezing here. It's really a long cold spell. We usually get cold, but maybe a day or two, and then it's back up nicely. But we're going to have, like, we've had almost a week of cold. Then it got nice and warm. It was like 80 degrees. And now it's back to cold again. Okay. Now we're going to do our umbrellas and our beach blankets. Now, for the beach blankets, I used Painterly Pears for this piece, and I used Florals and Bloom for this piece. And I used 1 1/4 by 2. Last one was 1 by 2, but I think it needed to be a little wider. And what you want to do is you want to fringe the ends of the blanket. I already did one end, so I'll do this end. So you can see, just cutting up a little ways with your scissors, a little slice all the way the ends of each end of each blanket. And then what you'll do is you'll kind of ruffle the edges. I think that's a nice little touch. Okay, so that one's done. And you can make your umbrellas any color you want. I used Lemon Lime Twist and Melon Mambo. I thought those were pretty colors. Nice bright colors. Okay, and then ruffle this up. Okay. Now the umbrellas, there's 2 dies for it. This one is the base. This one is the one that cuts out the different colored layers. So I cut one in Lemon Lime Twist and one in the Melon Mambo for the other card. And when you cut them out, you have enough for 2 cards. So this card will have the opposite layout. You'll see that this one has the green on the outside This one has the white on the outside with the green inside. This one has the white on the outside. This one will have the Melon Mambo on the outside. So we'll glue this down. I glued the green one down, but I haven't glued this one yet. We've had a really rotten week. We had to drive up to Jacksonville 2 days ago. And halfway there, well, first of all, the traffic was a mess. What's supposed to have been an hour and 15 minutes took us over 2 hours. Plus, we had car trouble on the way. Whoops. I shouldn't talk and craft at the same time. And it sounded like our transmission was going. We were darn lucky to get to the Naval Air Station to get our IDs done. And then we had to have the car towed. And we just got the news that we need a new transmission in a 2018 Honda Odyssey. It's not that old of a car. So that's a 10 grand trip. I'm glad that my husband was in the car. I'm glad I wasn't driving by myself. There we go. Okay. So now we're ready to put our beach blankets down. So I'm going to have this one about here, and then we'll put the umbrella there. So glue this. And I put a dimensional on the green umbrella. Just in the middle there. And glue the other beach blanket. And this one I just glued down straight without a dimensional. Okay. Now we're ready for our sentiment. Now I used Relax and Enjoy from the Notes and Totes. You can use whatever sentiment you want. And I stamped it in Azure Afternoon. I thought that looked nice. And I also cut off a little bit on the top because it was a little too big. So I'm going to slice off probably about an 1/8 of an inch, I guess. Yeah. That looks better. Okay, so we can put that on here, and I used dimensionals on that as well. This card really does come together pretty quickly. I'm anxious to see what other people make with it. I didn't think about any other designs. I just decided to do what they had on the website to get something done, and then I'll think about it later. Let's see. There we go. That looks straight. Okay, and we can glue that to our card front. Feels like we're clogging up again. Oh my gosh. We can send a man on the moon. Why can't we make a glue gun that works? I love how we always use that comparison. Okay. Looking good. All right, the inside. What I did was I stamped the water. Let's see. And I don't know how I've lost a big acrylic block. Which one is this? This is the eye. I don't know how you lose something that large. But if you saw my room, you probably would understand how it got lost. All right, I used Azure Blue. I don't know. I don't think I stamped it off enough. I think I'm going to stamp it off a little more. Let me get my Stampin' Off page. I'm going to stamp it off twice. That's much better. I stamped that off. Oh, look at that. I got some up there. Let's flip that over. Flip it over. Try again. Just because I got the color right, I had to mess it up that way. 1, 2. Oh, you know what? It's on my hands. 3. That's where it came from. Okay, and then a little sand. Well, we got the Azure Blue out. Let's do our happy birthday. And I'm using that from our new product of the month, the Fabulous Sayings. I'm using Happy Birthday. Love that set. Isn't that a pretty font? Okay, now we can get our sand. You can't have the beach without the sand. Okay. Hands off on my pants. Glue that on the inside, and then we are done. What do you think? How do you, any of you like me and have to get every kind of a beach bundle that they have? I just love anything beachy. I didn't buy the shells because I have so many shell stamps, even though I'm a sheller. There we go. Oh, that looks nice. All right. Here are the cards fresh from UPS. Got it yesterday, and I've got my card made today. I love this set. So, hope you have fun with it, and post some pictures on my Instagram, Facebook page. I'd love to see what you make. And I will post the measurements. Can't think of the word. I'll post the measurements in the description so you'll have those and all the colors that I used. All right, well, until next time, remember, making and receiving handmade cards. That's what joy feels like. See you next time. Bye-bye.